In the electoral division of Farrer, a coalition MP has always been at the helm. Most of its existence it has been fairly safe, trading with the Nationals for a brief period. But in the 2019 election, one independent gave Liberal MP Susan Ley a run for her money. In 1978, a 16-year-old Kevin Mack signed on to the Victoria Police as a cadet. 2 years later, he would become junior constable for Port Melbourne.
I was working as a policeman in Victoria. I had been for 40 years until I retired in 2019. But prior to that, I was working on a lot of cross-border projects with councils and with the police in Albury. And I had a lot to do with the administration here at council.
He would go on to serve 41 years and 26 days before resigning. Before resigning, he was already part of community boards and never really wanted to become mayor.
I became mayor just by accident because...
Really?
Yeah, accidental. Didn't covet the role. In the first year we nominated another councillor to be deputy mayor, and the day before the vote he got ill. So they said, well, it's up to you then. And that's how it happened. And from there I became the mayor the next year. So just pure accident. But look, I had a great time. Enjoyed the 9 years in local government and learned a lot.
Despite not seeking the position of mayor, he would go and take the job quite seriously.
I was full-time. A lot of mayors, the current mayor's not full-time. Mayor before me wasn't full-time, and the mayor before her wasn't full-time. So I took it seriously because if you want to know, if you want to work in the business, you need to know the business. And it's a big business, 700 employees, a budget of $140 million a year. There's a lot of responsibility, and you need to know what you're talking about. So that's really why. I mean, we're all different. Like I said, you can either sit in the role and be a bystander and say, look at me, I'm the mayor, or you can take a significant financial hit, take leave from your employer and do it in a, probably voluntary capacity in a lot of respects, considering the hours you do. But anyway, that was all part of the experience too, and I enjoyed it. It was great, and you reap the rewards of your efforts, and people still regale me and thank me for the work I did. So I must have done something right. But you don't do it for thanks; you do it because you think it's right.
Approving multiple city projects and bettering the lives of the people of Albury. The top job as mayor does come with a trade-off, though.
I'd say the 9 years in local government, my two kids went from 12 to 21 and 9 to 17. So, I missed all that growing up that they did, whilst giving everything I could to this role. So you miss it. You do. There's a trade-off for everything.
Running as an independent was not Kevin's original goal.
Oh, look, I didn't covet that either. I was approached by some people in the region about it was during a drought, the cost of water for their crops, the cost of water for them to produce profit in their farms right across the region. More about a community. There was a community cry for support, and the local member, who is still the local member, wasn't perceived as delivering to them. And look, that's sold it for me, because it's all about community, and I went down that path, and it was fairly horrendous, to be honest. It wasn't an easy 4 months, but it was, again, an experience that you take to your grave and you think, yeah, I did that. But another reason why I didn't run this time around, because I just didn't want to go through it again. The toll on the family is significant.
On the campaign trail, Kevin would stress the importance of rural Australia and the accessibility of water not just to them, but the economy as well. Susan Ley resorted to other methods to win the votes of the people of Farrer.
Unfortunately, with independents, both sides of the government do whatever they can to find anything they can to make you look bad. So they make stuff up, in a nutshell. So it's not as glamorous as it looks. So when I spoke about the federal election last time, people were standing at the polling booths where they vote telling people who took my how to vote card, this is the other side, Liberal Party, that I was a wife basher, that I was a drug dealer, and I bashed criminals when I was a policeman. All lies. But do whatever it takes to get one vote.
Despite facing the slander, Kevin would make it clear that his campaign would not be about character attacks. After the campaign was over, Susan Ley had won, but Kevin Mack had still achieved close to 40,000 votes after preferences, and just under 20,000 first preference votes, beating out every independent in Farah's history, and even the Labour candidate. Susan Ley, after preferences, got just under 60,000. The final results were Ley 60%, Mack 40%. When I asked Kevin if, hypothetically, he became an MP in 2019, would he run again in 2022? This was his response.
You know, that can wear your family out. I think if I was single, didn't have a family, I probably would have ran again. But the only reason independents survive is because it sharpens the focus of the major parties to say we need to do it better. That's all. I think that's the lesson you learn from it. Do they make a difference? I think they do, because your electorate gets more money because they want to win it back. But having said that, it can be quite grueling for the elected member. Helen Haynes or Cathy McGowan, my hat goes off to them, because they just really don't stop.
And that brings us to the end of the video. Now, as always, I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.